So week 7, P, it's that time, man. We be doing these pick'ems every week already for the first 6 weeks. And listen, this has been, you know what I'm saying? It's been a harder year to pick winners, even like just not even the spread. It's been hard to pick winners this year. But here we are, P, and me and your record tied. 42-32, man. We doing, I thought we would be doing better than this, to be real with you. But this year, man, we've got, Denver is a winning football team. Washington ended up being a winning football team. And we're seeing some teams just can't even get a win. You know what I mean? You look at the Jacksonville Jaguars and Tennessee Titans, and it's ugly for them teams. So the Jets aren't as good. Like, there's just a lot going on. And obviously, we saw a lot of big trades, too. So, P, man, it's been a kind of a crazy early parts of the season here.
It has been, man. I mean, you think about like good quality teams and how they started off. Like everybody thought the Jets would cook. The Ravens also to a slow start. I think they were like 0-2 or
Yep.
one, and then they started 1-3 or one whatever it was. Cincy as well. I think they only got one win on their books, but yeah, it's been crazy. I think things are starting to level out, and then you got surprise teams like Washington coming in and cooking people. So. I think that is attributed, though, to, some fluctuation off season, but also a lot of teams not playing their starters in preseason and then kind of struggling to get their groove through the first quarter of the season. So you're seeing some teams that start to really take form now. And that I think you could also apply that to fantasy as well. It's been a slow start to putting up fantasy numbers. But that's what I think I'm attributing it to. We're cooking from here on out. So, it is what it is.
Ain't no worries in my book, man. We going to cook and we going to pick. And I'm going to pick better than you. So, it's not even a big issue anyway. From here on out, it's like we had to, sometimes you got to size your opponent up, and these picks right now, they've been a little tougher. But I think we going to cook here. All right. Denver and New Orleans. New Orleans is 3-point underdogs at home. They have nobody, P. And this is ugly for the New Orleans side. Mm-hmm. Obviously, without Chris Olave, without Rashid Shaheed, without Taysom Hill, pretty much all the star caliber players outside of Alvin Kamara. And then on the Denver side, they're missing Patrick Surtain, which is a big loss for the secondary. And, even though I think this Denver defense has been playing really well, it's going to be tough without him. So on a short week, Denver on the road in New Orleans on Thursday Night Football, Spencer Rattler, your boy is starting. Who you got in this one?
You would give it to me. How long is
I'll take it. Denver's gonna win this game. I got it. Denver's gonna win this game.
Got that, yeah.
And I think it's gonna be an easy win for him. I think we see Spencer Rattler struggle a little bit in this game, man. And this is one of those things where when you just don't have weapons, you're as a rookie for the first time, man. I know you're at home. It's a home game on a short week, but I think Denver's just playing better football right now, and they're just the better team overall. Surtain could be out of here, and I still think this team's going to struggle to move the football downfield. A lot of Alvin Kamara tonight. I just think that at some point, that's not enough. Give me Denver to win this game versus the Saints, even if it's a close one. I kind of think the Broncos might blow them out, like a defensive score is even in play here.
I don't know, man. We had a lot of the same picks last week, right? So I'm actually going to go New Orleans in this one. No Pat Surtain. That offense has been struggling to find their footing when it comes to running the ball or just like a solid running back in general. I like the matchup of New Orleans secondary. I like their two corners versus whoever's going to be catching a rock for Denver. So I think that's where they're going to win. And obviously I'm going against, I'm picking the underdog here, but I seem to think that Rattler playing with a bunch of people who he does have chemistry with, right? A lot of their wide receivers are hurt, not playing. So that second and third string, they have that chemistry with a second string quarterback. So I think we could see something there. Give me New Orleans with a surprise.
Yeah, we saw Bub Memes. We saw, Mason Tipton's had a couple plays here and there. So it looks like Rattler's going to have some opportunity. Probably going to be using his legs a little bit versus Denver pass rush too. So Denver, New Orleans, we are on opposite sides going into Thursday night. New England and Jacksonville. Obviously, New England and Jacksonville. Another London game for Jacksonville, and I am absolutely sick and tired of picking Jacksonville and having this team lose, man. They've stayed out there, which for them, Obviously, no jet lag, but the Patriots made a change last week at quarterback and injected a little life into this offense with Drake May. He did have an MRI yesterday, so I'm not sure if he's going to be available for this weekend. Who do you like in this game, the Pats or the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are favored by 5.5?
All right. Well, Jacksonville, you did make a statement of them having home field advantage in London, which I don't know how much of that is, it's going to help them because they've been
It
taking
ain't helping them at
L's.
all.
You know what I'm saying? But this is going to be dependent on Drake May. I think that New England's defense is a little underrated, but hey, listen, if Jacksonville loses to New England, Doug Peterson's gone. So I think Doug Peterson's coaching for his job. I'm still going to take Jacksonville in a closer game. I think it's probably even going to be closer than 5.5. But give me Jacksonville, Coach Peterson. If he loses, then, he's out of there.
Oh, this 5.5, bro. This 5.5. It is talking to me, bro. Like, the one thing here is that if Drake May is able to go, which I haven't seen anything that says like he's dealing with something major. So this is as of recording, we don't know what's going on with Drake May, Jacoby Brissett, who's starting. Assuming that Drake May is out there, I have a tough time right now picking Jacksonville. I do. And we've seen them in favorable spots. They have one win on the season. I just feel like this team, man, it's it's ugly right now. And I think the Pats are just playing a little bit more inspired ball right now. This is kind of going against the grain for Jay Hen, but I'm gonna pick the Pats in this one. I'm gonna pick the Pats in this one, man. Like I said, it's a little against the grain for me, but I'm tired of picking this Jacksonville Jaguars team. I am, and I feel like they're playing uninspiring ball. When you have a rookie quarterback, sometimes things go your way. I know the Jacksonville offense got back Evan Ingram, which was helping them move the football last week. But I think this Patriots team showed a little bit with Drake May. It showed like we got a little grit, and even though he had a couple early mistakes, some his fault, some not his fault. I think he played really good football in the second half. So give me this New England team with Drake May. I'm sticking with it.
No, I feel you, man. Drake, listen, even though they lost last week, New England, I think as a team, they still consider that a win, right? They put up that many points against, not like a solid defense in Houston. So, you got me on that. I think that I honestly want to pick New England, but I'm going Jacksonville just because it's put up or shut up, right? It's put up or shut up.
You know what I'm saying? You just want to copy me, bro. It's fine. You can copy me. You can copy my picks again, bro, like you always do.
Nah, give me Jacksonville, baby.
Seattle, Atlanta, bro. Seattle, Atlanta. And the Seahawks-Atlanta game should be a nice little shootout here. We got 51 points on the board. And for the Seattle offense, man, they have, at times, these things look elite, bro. Like, it looks like this could be probably one of the best passing attacks in the league. And then we look at Atlanta on the other side, and they also have a lot of the same. Both defenses, Seattle, you kind of called out their defense earlier for being a little sketch. It's proved to be up and down this year, but the same could be said for this Atlanta defense that made some pretty big signings this offseason, and we've seen it be a little up and down as well. But I think at home, this team is starting to figure things out. This Atlanta Falcons team, they're getting Drake London involved, moving him into the slot a little bit. We're seeing Bijan get going a little bit. They're finding this two-headed monster, even with Tyler Algier, as we've seen him. And, even we've seen Kyle Pitts show flashes here and there. So I think they needed to find an identity. Kirk needed to get back to being healthy. He finally looks the part. Give me Atlanta in this one, even though it probably will be a nail-biter of some sort. But give me the Falcons to win this game.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a nail biter at all. I think that Atlanta's trending up, Seattle's trending down. I don't know how healthy Seattle's defense is, or even their O-line for that matter. And I think that they're just getting exposed, week after week getting exposed. First the Giants, the Niners. Now they're going to get really exposed. I see this being I don't see this game being close at all. Give me Atlanta.
Also, when you got the West Coast to East Coast morning game travel, you have to factor that in as well. So I'm on there with you when it comes to Atlanta. And, don't be surprised if we see an offensive outburst from Atlanta yet again. It just feels like they're starting to get things rolling. And when all the pieces are right for this Atlanta team, they're going to be a cover machine. Like I see them being a cover machine here over the next few weeks. So I really like Atlanta to cover this game, but I could see it. Like I said, I could see it being a little closer than we probably think.
Let's get it.
Tennessee, Buffalo. There's, I think do we got to spend a whole lot of time on this one, bro? Because Will Levis, though, I think
Nah.
we got to talk about Will Levis, though, and like, it's bad. It's
Mhm.
bad. Like, do they have a chance to even? I'm concerned about them covering the 9 outside of just their defense being elite. I'm concerned about that. Like, is this gonna be a double-digit game for sure?
It's tough because Tennessee has a strong defense. Tennessee has a competent running game. They have a decent O line. They have all the makings of a team that should be winning. They just have extremely horrible QB play coming out of the fucking with Will
Uh,
Levis, man. And I couldn't have been more wrong. I was giving Will Levis a chance. Live arm, good wide receivers. They are coming into form. And while I do see some buy low opportunities out of these wide receivers in the future, there's no hope for him against Buffalo. I will say this, right? Tennessee's defense is good, like I just mentioned. Their running game's good. Buffalo gives up points to the running backs. Over the last few weeks, they're susceptible to that. But I think that they're going to make a statement with Amari Cooper. And give me Buffalo and give me Buffalo covering.
Yeah, the cover part is the hard part because this Tennessee team is like going to be fighting tooth and nail to get a win and prove like Will Levis going to be proving that he belongs to be the starter. And at some point in this game, if it does get ugly, it will be Mason Rudolph who comes in. And Calvin Ridley's been like, yo, I need fucking targets. Like he's been like, I need the ball. And I don't know. This team has had trouble. The Buffalo Bills have had trouble stuff in the run. I don't think we're going to see Amari Cooper play this week. He's very questionable to play this week. Obviously, was on the practice field today for Thursdays, but we are not sure he's going to be available. Like short week on the playbook, but I'm taking. I mean, there's no way I'm not taking Buffalo here. So I think when it comes to the points, I might go with Tennessee just because it's inspired football. But this could also be one of those games where it's like a 20-point Buffalo win.
Yeah, it could be
I'd
a
stay
point. It
away.
could be a game where they're like resting their starters, like midway through the fourth.
Midway through the second. Uh, Cincinnati and Cleveland, and you've talked about this Cincinnati team and how they've kind of struggled here early on. Same could be said for this Cleveland team that looks to be in rebuild mode already. It seems like, man, trading off one of their elite pieces in Amari Cooper this week, as we just talked about, to the Buffalo Bills. But the Cincinnati offense is starting to get a little bit more, I would say, a little bit more explosive.
Mm-hmm.
They've had their ups and downs throughout the year. Going into Cleveland, they are favorites, 6-point favorites. I just don't see a world where they lose, where they win this, or excuse me, where they lose this game, unless Deshaun Watson just looks incredibly different than he has over the last couple weeks. So without Amari Cooper, that's another weapon gone. Nick Chubb is also returning for this game, so that
Mm-hmm.
might bring a little bit of inspiration to this Browns team. I know it's the Battle of Ohio, but I'm going with with Cincinnati. I think they're just the
Okay.
better football team. I just don't see a world where they lose this game.
Yeah, I, bro, I want to pick Cleveland, but just like you've been picking the Jags, I've been picking Cleveland, and they've been letting your boy down. That I feel like that's an elite defense that's going to waste.
That's
It's so disheartening. I like the fact that Chubb's coming back. I feel like it's only a few weeks away before we see Jameis Winston starting. As far as this matchup goes, Cincinnati Cincinnati could probably put up points, but then again, it's that defense that I just have so much hope in. And, with Chubb coming back, I think they just have a better ground game than Cincy. We've been seeing good games from Brown from Cincy. They're playing the Browns, but
Brown,
um,
Cincy, Brown.
yeah, I'm still gonna take Cincy with all that shit being said. If I'm giving Cincy 6 points, then I would take, or excuse me, if I'm giving Cleveland 6 points, I'm taking Cleveland. But give me Cincy. Give me Cincy in a closer game than people think.
It could be closer. I just don't see a world where Cincy loses this game. Like, just with everything going on with the Browns right now, it feels like a quarterback change is coming. It feels like potentially even a coaching change could come. Like, it just feels like this Cleveland thing is not working out with Deshaun Watson, unfortunately. Even though they played a tight game last week against the Eagles, it was like we saw Jameis Winston come in at times. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about this Cleveland team, and I thought this would be like a playoff team.
Yeah.
I honestly thought like Cleveland would be a playoff team with Deshaun, and it just hasn't worked out. Give me Cincinnati in this one.
Mm-hmm.
So we're both on the same page there. Houston, Green Bay. This should be a really
Mm.
fun matchup. Obviously, two of the
Mm-hmm.
best young quarterbacks going at it: C.J. Stroud, Jordan Love, and obviously without Nico Collins, this Texans offense still looks high powered, even with Joe Mixon coming back and fully healthy now, and Tank Dell looks the part, fully healthy now. So, who you got in this one? Obviously, Green Bay. The offense has looked good. They've had I think Jaden Reed's a little banged up. I think Dontavian Wicks is still week to week, but outside of that, how you feeling about this matchup?
This is a good one. I like this matchup. I like is Jair's in?
Yeah, he's back.
If Jair's
From
back,
I'm sure he's back. I'll check that for
yeah,
you.
let's double check that. I'm leaning towards Green Bay, right? I like the fact that I like their secondary versus Houston's wide receivers. And Green Bay could put up points with the best of them. I like how they call the plays. They could run. They just feel like a little bit more of a complete team, just health wise. They're more healthy. I'm taking Green Bay, and yeah, I like the high scoring game. Yeah, give me Green Bay.
This feels like Houston is the better team, but this has all the makings of like. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like casually wise, if we were betting, this feels like the guppy play. Like, oh, Houston, they're a better team than the Packers. 2.5 points. Like, give me the 2.5. So, like if I was betting this, I probably would just stay away. I'm gonna be honest with you, just because
Yeah,
both of these offenses are like capable. Both of these defenses, like it's gonna come down to fourth quarter. Couple plays in the fourth quarter that determine this one. So this is probably a better game to watch than to bet on. I'm gonna go Green Bay here though. I think that they handle business at home. We see the run game get, even though Houston's been tough against backs, I think we can see Josh Jacobs get going a little bit. Give me Green Bay in this one, even though I think this is going to be a hell of a game.
yeah, oof. Yeah. So the Texans wait, the Texans beat the Bills a few weeks ago. They've been as good as the Texans are. I think they're a little overrated in my opinion.
Why say that?
Because like they're having look, they should have blown out the Rams. They beat them by 2 points. They should have they barely beat the Colts by 2 points. They beat the Bears. No, that wasn't preseason.
Yeah, it was. They played their first game of the year against Mixon. Remember Mixon? Against Anthony Richardson when we had that throw.
Okay. So they barely beat the Colts by 2 points. They barely beat the Bears by 3 points when the Bears didn't have anything going.
Yeah,
they got smoked by the Vikings, barely beat the Jags by 4 points, barely beat the Bills, Bills is a good team. I'll give them that. And, the Patriots with a rookie put up 21 points on them. I think this team is a little overrated, to be honest with you. I feel like they're a little overrated. I think Green Bay is going to expose them. So
that could be a good point. I think Green Bay's a little underrated too. I think because we haven't talked about Jordan Love missed a few games. It's like we haven't really seen him string together like multiple elite level games. And I think we forget about what he was looking like last season and how he had that stretch of games, especially in the playoffs. It feels like Jordan Love this Packer team might be underrated. Everybody hypes up the Lions and obviously the 49ers for good cause, but like I feel like this Green Bay team still doesn't get the love that they deserve.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And, hey, listen. Hey,
Good
Christian
game.
Watson, he's going to have a huge game. Look it.
Indy, this is not right. Let me check this one more time. There's no way this is right. Indy favored by 3.
Yeah, Tua's still out.
No, Miami's favored by 3, bro. There's no way Indy's favored by 3.
Miami's favored by 3? I mean,
it has to be. I probably have it wrong.
Is Jonathan Taylor? What's up with him, man?
3. Indy is favored by 3. Holy shit.
I told you.
Indy's favored by 3. I think Miami's going to win this game. I think this is an easy Miami win. I think Tyler Huntley, the negative, there's a lot of negativity right now around Miami and who they are as a team, right? I think that with Tua being out, there's a lot of question marks about this offense. It's like, oh, can this offense move the ball? But the one thing people forget about Miami is that the ground game is very important to what they do. And this team was trying to run Devon Achane, giving him 25 touches, hoping for the home runs. And it's like, he wasn't built for that. He was built to handle the 10 to 15 touches and make the explosive plays. Now we get the return of Raheem Mostert, who is built to handle those 10 to 12 touches and keep this ground game going. Tyler Huntley, Mike McDaniel coming off of a bye, knowing that he's going to get some explosive plays, knowing that they got to get Tyreek Hill the football, knowing they got to get Jalen Waddle the football. And it's, the Colts are a good team, I think, but they have a lot of question marks. Michael Pittman banged up, Anthony Richardson starting this game now. Like, to me, Jonathan Taylor, is he going to play? Is he not? Trey Sermon, is he going to play? Is he not? This defense has a bunch of holes. So I got Miami in this one. And the defense is being a very underrated part of this team right now. I got Miami. I think they cover this. I think it's money line. I play a money line.
You think Miami just wins outright? Okay.
I think they went outright.
Yeah, I think Miami is the more talented team. I think I like Miami's secondary. As much as but I just don't like I think, you know what? I'm going to lean towards Miami on this one. I'm going to lean towards Miami. If Indy had a slightly better defense, then I would be picking Indy. But Miami's just been a fucking train wreck. They have been an absolute train wreck with Tua being out there.
The one thing outside of that, even in that first game, the Colts have been competitive in literally every game they played. Like against the Steelers, they got the good win last week, like the game-winning touchdown from Flacco to Pittman. But like they've been competitive really in every game. So, and Miami has struggled since Tua's been out. They've struggled to move the football. I see it as Mike McDaniel figures things out against a bad defense, and they change the tide of their season. That's how I see this thing playing out.
Yeah, the reason I'm picking Miami, right? I picked Miami too. The reason I'm picking Miami is because, it's Indy has been two different teams, right? They're one team with A-Rich. They're a complete another team with Joe Flacco, right? Joe Flacco, they offer a little bit more consistency. The intermediate passes there, the short passes there, and the deep passes there. It's more of a balanced thing. I think that team's game plan against Anthony Richardson one way, and he has yet to counter. Right? I mean, he did get hurt, so he probably didn't offer the ability to counter, but it's a tell of two different teams. And the first few games, Indy was healthy on defense. They lost Buckner. That's a huge loss. If you lose Buckner and you can't stop the run, you can't stop anybody, right? So I think that plays into Miami's favor, and that's the reason I'm taking Miami.
Yeah, they have not got him back yet. They opened up the 21-day practice window, so it's not a certainty he'll be ready for this game. More than likely, he's going to need a little bit more time to get active. So both of us pick Miami on that one. Let's move on.
Let's get
Division game here. Detroit and Minnesota. Minnesota's favored by 2.5. This is a really good game, P. Two heavy hitters here in the NFC North, which is stacked with teams right now. This NFC North is going to be crazy to see how this thing finishes out. Who you got in this one, P? Detroit or Minnesota?
Minnesota coming off a bye. I like Minnesota's defense, but I'm taking Detroit, and here's why. For everything that Minnesota is defensively, they're attacking the quarterback, right? Complicated blitzes, these different zone blitzes that they're throwing at these different looks that they're throwing at the quarterback, causing a lot of confusion. Detroit's just going to run through that defense, right? You cannot right now. Detroit's rolling so much so right now on offense, and specifically through the run that way it opens up so much via the pass, right? Jared Goff is not like a top tier quarterback, but when you have a running game that well, it just makes that much easier, right? Things are going to be a lot more open. Because you have to commit to the run, right? So I just think that even with the loss of Aiden Hutchinson, I think that Detroit can stop the run. But I'm taking Detroit, even with Minnesota coming off a bye.
Yeah, Minnesota coming off a bye. Kevin O'Connell's been looking at this game for the last 2 weeks, and I think there's a reason why Minnesota's favored this game. I think there's a reason why they're undefeated, and I think that defense is going to give the Lions a little bit more problems than we think. I still think the Lions offensively should be able to do what they want, right? But when I think about like stops, when I think about turnovers, when I think about Jared Goff, like Jared Goff over the last 2 weeks, this offense is putting up like crazy amount of points, over 40 points in like what both against the
Back
Seahawks
to
and
backs.
yeah, back to back 40-point games. And so it's just one of those things where like sometimes you come off of a win where you're talking shit, you're so emotionally invested in beating this Dallas Cowboy team and you're stunting on them with offensive line plays. Like they had that game starred. And it feels like you might have been a little, you know what I mean? You put your all into that emotional win, and it's a blowout win, and you guys are loose. Now you come into a division game with a target on your head because you won this division last year and you're in their house. I think Justin Jefferson has an incredible day this week. Give me Minnesota in this one to win and cover.
Yeah, yeah. I like it. You know, I think that this is going to be the game of the week, definitely.
Oh, it is?
Oh, well, we probably got something cooking this weekend,
man.
Huh?
I don't know about game of the
this
week because we got, we might have to talk about something in a few games.
A little sneak peek on them.
I'll say this though, there's some great football on this Sunday, man. We're talking about, CJ Stroud versus Jordan Love. We got Saquon right here going back to the G, man. So there's gonna be some good football on this week. But Philly and the Giants. Listen, the Giants have been a pleasant surprise for those who are invested in Giants players. Get Malik Neighbors back, expected back this week. And they've been playing good football in a division game at home. This is tough, man, because we know this field. There's a very high likelihood that somebody might go down in this game just because this is the nature of that field. I hope not. But outside of that, I think Philly's just a better football team. And they had a tough win last week against Cleveland. I think Philly handles business even on the road here. I know the Giants are going to be up for this one. This is going to be one that they're up for, but Saquon Barkley is going to be up for this one. And my man is about to go hammer. I got a feeling they make sure he gets in the end zone at least one time against the squad. Give me Philly.
Yeah, I think Philly's the more talented team. I truly think and the Giants are the better coached team. You can see them. You can see the way that this team is playing.
I hate Sirianni, bro. I don't get it.
Sirianni's not a good coach. What is he good at? What is he good at?
He good at hyping these players up.
He goes that slow motion. Nah, bro. Sirianni is for as stacked as this team is. You would think that they would be putting up significantly more points, right? Philly, I'm talking about. Like offensively, this team is off the charts. Why are they not top 5 in scoring? Like, why are they not? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying this or that. I'm just saying that there's some underlying reason as to why they're not performing up to their potential.
Injuries.
No, bro. Even when they're fully healthy, like they barely beat the Browns by 1 score last week.
Yeah.
They're coming off of a bye. They were supposed to blow that fucking team out. The Giants. Listen, for as good as Philly is running the rock, the Giants are no punk stopping the run, right? So, listen, I'm still taking Philly. I ain't gonna hold you.
Scared?
No, I mean, come on. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm still finna take Philly. You know what? But I think I would not be surprised if the Giants pull that out. Let me just say that.
See, that's one of them. You're gonna come back and be like, CJ, I told you about the Giants.
I had to say all I had to say. So you know what I'm saying? I put that one up though.
Nah, Philly gonna win this game, bro.
I think Philly's gonna win.
The Raiders obviously made the move that we've been expecting. Devontae Adams is now in New York. This Raider team has made the change to Aiden O'Connell, probably permanently. The Rams coming off of a bye, obviously there's a chance that Cooper Kupp is available for this game, but they're still dealing with massive amount of injuries on that team. Who you got in this one? Because there's also been a lot of trade rumors. Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, you've been hearing these names floating around in trade rumors. So could be some changes here for the Rams. Not this week, obviously. You got the Raiders or the Rams?
Give me the Rams. I think coming off of a bye, and just the fact, even if Cooper Kupp's not there, Matt Stafford could still drum up a game with nobody's out there, right? If he had me out there, I'd probably have 202, but that's just me. But you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you like this. I really think it's gonna be
Kobe Parkinson over the middle, 3 catches for 49. You feel me? I'll let you get the 200.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Because I'm over here like this. Nah, but I really think I really think that they're gonna win. The Raiders don't have anything really to play for. They can see what their team is in store for. Max Crosby is probably going to be the next one to get moved. Hopefully he comes to the Nines. But but yeah, give me the Rams coming off a bye and just getting the fucking dub through the running game. Getting the
It
dub
just
through the
feels like
running game.
this Raiders team is dysfunctional. Tom Brady took over ownership. I don't see Antonio Pierce unless they're just going to let him coach the rest of this year just because and make a coaching change at the end of the year. It just doesn't feel like this team is going anywhere anytime fast or even playing for wins. They could be playing for a top draft pick so they can get Shadur next year. Or they can get somebody else in this draft. Definitely does not feel like this team is going to be trying to win games. Give me the Rams in this one with the points total. I'd probably even take them with the points here. Another pretty, I would say this is an underrated game right here. Carolina and Washington. And, obviously I'm going to take Washington in this one. I think they're playing better football. They're playing a little bit more, defensively. They're playing better than we thought they had. Dan Quinn is getting this thing turned around. Carolina just a little loose right now. Obviously, I think they needed that change, the quarterback change to ignite the offense. But we're going to start to see some of I talked about this. We're going to start to see some of Andy Dalton's true colors here, the inconsistency. So, this could be a closer game than it appears. I think I would probably take Carolina with the points here, like Carolina +8. But I think Washington wins this game at home. Just feels like they're the better team overall. Give me Washington.
Yeah, I'm taking Washington too, and I'll take the points. Washington's just an overall better team. Like Dan Quinn's a great coach, and accompanied with like a great defensive coach. So that defense is settling in, accompanied with a solid, not just quarterback, but a solid play caller, right, to get everything right there. So
Cliff Kingsbury, yep.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury. It seems like that's a match made in heaven. So I think that Washington wins hand. I think that this is actually going to show Washington's class. I think that they're going to win by 2 scores or more.
Let me ask you this. You think Washington is an elite team in the NFC East? Like, do you think they're a playoff team or do you think they're just hot right now? Because I think there could be like a little bit of, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's a rookie as shit and Daniels. But it feels like this team, and with all the questions defensively they had early on, they've been able to figure out. It feels like Washington is a tough team to gauge. Like, are they for real? Or are they, contender or pretender type thing?
Yeah, so as far as like the NFC goes, like I don't see them passing Detroit. I think that it would be a good game against Green Bay. Because it's not just like I don't see them as a pretender. They're definitely not a pretender. They would have been exposed, but they were holding their weight even against the Ravens, right? So I like the fact that it seems like it's a young team, and it seems like it's a lot of Jaden Daniels, which it is, but you have a lot of experience in Terry McLaurin out there. You have a solid running back in Brian
Robinson, yeah.
Brian Robinson. I want to say Brian Thomas. You have a lot of experience in Brian Robinson, a really good underrated running back at that. And then you got Eckler out there, offer a lot of experience. This whole team, I love this. Yeah, I love how Zach Ertz, right? Hell of experience. I think it's coming together really well with the youth at quarterback, along with the experience at his skill positions. And like I mentioned, you can't stress this enough. You give a good offensive play caller those tools, he's going to make it work, accompanied with a great defensive head coach. Like the head coach is a great defensive mind, so the defense is going to be coming together. So I think this is a playoff team, and but as far as how deep they go in the playoffs,
the reason why I would call them a pretender is because I think they're a fringe playoff team if they get in, right? I think in the NFC, they're not the best in their division. I think Philly's the best in their division. You got a really good NFC North right now with like 4 teams that could probably make the fucking playoffs. They remind me a lot of Chicago, like a team that might be on the outside looking in or just like fighting to get in. Because you even think about like Seattle in NFC West is probably going to be up there. In the NFC North, NFC South, there's really just Tampa. That's really it. So,
no, they got Atlanta
Tampa and the Falcons. My bad. Tampa and the Falcons. So I just feel like they might be on the outside looking in, or maybe they're going to knock off a team we're not expecting.
Listen, if we could do a halftime like NFC prediction right now in this show, NFC playoff prediction, that'll be crazy because I think that they're better than Seattle, and I think that they're better than Tampa as well, as good as Tampa has been playing.
I don't know.
So I would say that I think that they're better than the Bears. It's funny.
So playoffs. I think we both agree Niners.
Niners.
Detroit.
Detroit.
Philly.
I think you could say Philly, yeah.
Green Bay.
I would say Green Bay, yeah.
Minnesota.
Obviously Minnesota.
Falcons.
Falcons, yeah.
Then we have Bucks, Cowboys, Seattle, Commanders. There's a
Washington
lot of,
too. Or
Washington,
that's
yeah, there's a lot of teams for that
But
7th
listen,
spot.
of that 7th spot, of those teams you just named, give me Washington over any of them. Of those teams you just named, give me Washington over any of them. And it's not far-fetched to think that Washington could even take this division with the momentum that they're running with. Listen, it's far-fetched. It's not far-fetched, but as good and as talented as Philly is offensively, they got an extremely young defensive line. They're still trying to figure everything out on their defensive line. They got some youth out there in their quarterback. Their defense is not as scary as people thought, right?
No, bro. I can't get with that. I think they're close. But they are fringe. I think they're more of a fringe playoff team. But I think they can go out and beat guys that they're supposed to beat in the Carolina team. So we talked about it earlier. Game of the week. GOTW. That's what it is on this one. A W. Speaking of W, we need that one. KC and San Francisco, man. P, guess what? You get to do this one first, man. You get to do this first. Obviously, a Super Bowl rematch here. But without some of the key pieces we thought would be in this game, the receivers are gone for this for this
Let me just throw the hat on now.
The Niners are starting to get healthy, man. Who you like in this one? Niners or Kansas City Chiefs?
Bro.
I say Chiefs, bro.
Nah, I can't. Listen. Don't predict what I'm gonna say because I don't even know what I'm gonna say, man. I'm gonna figure it out about halfway through the speech.
You said Kansas City?
I didn't say that. I didn't say nothing yet. But I'm gonna tell you like this, man. We have not beat the Chiefs since we haven't beat them in forever. We haven't, like, Kittle's never beat them, and as long as Kittle's been with, Debo's never beat them. But that just tells you something. You know, I like the fact that we're playing them in the regular season, so the refs don't have to, like, you know, try to decide the game, because this whole, like, the Super Bowl, that was some bullshit. You know, all those holding calls, that was some bullshit. We should have beat them. I think we're the better team. Andy Reid coming off of a bye, his record coming off of a bye is crazy. I'm taking the Niners. And that's just what it is. At San Francisco, we finna smoke these punks. But I'm gonna tell you like this, man. It's not even. It's, you know, you. I'm saying that with respect to KC because I don't have a deep hated like.
You said KC, Niners.
Give me my Niners, bro. You tripping? You think I'm gonna take KC? I'll say this. I don't think KC, like, I don't have a hate for KC like I do for Dallas, like I do for Seattle. You know what I mean? Like, they beat us twice in the Super Bowl. I've always been a fan of Andy Reid going back to his Philly days. But I think that we get them coming off of a bye. They're coming off a bye. We're coming off a mini bye. I think we're just a better team. I like their defensive coach, but this is where I think we win. Spags is legit. Spags brings the blitz. Dominic Pooney, the rookie right guard we got, he's going to hold it down. You can clip this shit up. He's finna hold this shit down. Listen, and I think we win.
1.5 points. There's no way in hell I'm picking Kansas City Chiefs. No way in hell. No way. It's a Niner pick.
Yeah.
KC, Andy Reid is 21-4 off a bye. 21-4, bro. So if you got money, I would say I'm telling you, for me, this is a homer pick. There's no amount of research I'm putting into this that's putting in the Niners. I'm not picking the fucking KC, though. I'm not. Andy Reid 21-4 off a bye. Mahomes has owned us. I'm picking the Niners.
Let's go. Listen, man. Listen.
But I also think this. Is a game. It's a regular season game. And we see Kyle Shanahan, a lot of his troubles and documented struggles are in the playoffs. When clutch moments arise and we start to see fourth quarter leads drop, that's typically what we see. Mahomes looking like Mahomes. A lot of that is in the playoffs, the locked in Mahomes. So maybe Shanahan gets a big lead and we ride this thing out and get a dub and beat him by 15 points.
This is where, you know, all the shit I've been saying about KC's, you know, respect and all that good shit. I think we win this game based on the fact of legitimately that right guard we have, Dominic Pooney, we drafted him. He's a fucking stud. Where we have struggled against this team, our offensive line, they have a good play caller. They have a good defensive line, and they bring the blitz. Dominic Pooney this year, obviously it's his first year, but I want to say 0 sacks he gave up. He may have given up one recently, but check the stats on Dominic Pooney. I think he's going to be the reason why we win this game.
KC has been the toughest team against running backs so far this season. Chris Jones has been shutting shit down. We'll see how it goes. Jordan Mason banged up for our game too. We got to see if he's available in this game.
Yeah.
The Jets in Pittsburgh, Sunday Night Football. Changes ahead for both of these teams. Devontae Adams is now in New York. Russell Wilson is going to be starting this game in Pittsburgh. And, you know, this game is going to be a good football game. I think in general, there's a lot to prove for both of these teams. This is like must win for the Jets. This is must win for Russell Wilson. Like, I think there's a lot at stake here for this game because if the Jets lose this game, everybody's gonna be like, what the hell? Why are you guys trading for Devontae Adams? Well, why are y'all making that move? Like, y'all need to worry about making the playoffs. So for me, man, this feels like one of those games where the Jets are ultra talented, got their boy, but I feel like Russ, who has been underrated, criminally underrated his entire career, Russ would not be on that stage if he didn't give the Steelers the best chance to win. The Steelers defense has also been elite, just like this Jets defense has been elite. I'm taking the Steelers here. At home,
Ooh.
I think they're disrespect. I think everybody's going to be like, yo, this Jets team, the defense is locked in. We got Aaron Rodgers, their weapons now, Devontae Adams. I'm taking the Steelers in this one. And even though Najee Harris is banged up, I think Russ wills this team to a win. I think Mike Tomlin has his guys believing, and he gives them the best chance to win. Give me the Steelers in this one.
Yeah. Good pick. I'm taking the Jets. And I'm taking the Jets because I think listen, Devontae Adams coming back, this team is going to be hard to game plan for because while you have to worry about Devontae Adams, you know, I think Garrett Wilson is going to thrive in the number 2 wide receiver role there. I think he's going to thrive. I think it's better suited for him, honestly.
Slot.
Yeah, getting his work out the slot. And I think both of those guys accompanied with Breece Hall. And I think Breece Hall is, you know, he's going to be able to eat. And this defense is this defense ain't no punk either. So I'm taking obviously the Jets. You know, with as good as I don't know, I wouldn't say as good as Russell Wilson is, as good as this defense is. Russell Wilson is good enough to get more out of Pickens. So, side note, I think Pickens is a huge buy low right now. Before you see him play, maybe even after this week. But you know, it's funny because like they're 4-2, and then they made the QB switch, right? And do you see the speculation as to why they did that?
Justin Fields wasn't good. That's what Mike Tomlin came out and said. That he said Justin Fields hasn't been good, and then Justin Fields came out and said, "Yeah, haven't been good enough."
Well, you got to say that. That's like I think a political answer, but I think the real answer is if Justin Fields played 51% of the snaps, that 6 that they traded him for turns into I think a 3rd or a 4th. So they're like, you know, we'll probably save for next year. Russ, get up in there, bruh. Get up in there. So, I just think that I think it's similar to how Flacco offers a little bit more stability to an offense to Indy than A-Rich does. I think that same thing could be applied to this situation here.
Gotcha.
But with all that being said, give me the Jets.
Yeah, this is an interesting dynamic because I think the Steelers are going to slow shit down, obviously, but defensively they're going to cause Rodgers some problems. And you know, the one thing about Rodgers is that like it will be everybody else's fault but his. So yeah. I mean, I'm sure now Alan Lazard's going to get thrown under the bus. Breece Hall's going to get thrown under the bus. A lot of changes here, man. I got Pittsburgh in this one. I think there are more. The culture is better there, and the winning vibes will be there.
Yeah, better coach.
2 Monday night games we got, P, and then we can wrap this thing up, man. Baltimore at Tampa. Baltimore obviously coming in red hot right now. They're a hard team to game plan for due to the running attack. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are having their way this season. But Tampa on the other side, P, they've been able to air things out and keep most games. They've been playing well themselves, man. Who you got in this one?
This is a good one, man. You know, I really do want to take Tampa. I really do.
I know you're a
Um,
Tampa fan.
Mike Allstar, what up? But I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Like, look, Baltimore, as good as they are offense, you cannot stop that running game. You cannot stop that running game. Vita Vea is a legitimate, like, he's everything for this defensive line and even almost this defense, right? Where Tampa is susceptible on defense is their secondary. But you could say the same thing for Baltimore, right? Baltimore hasn't been stopping shit either. And I think that this is going to definitely be a high scoring game. And look, 3.5 points, I'm taking Tampa. With 3.5 points, give
I
me
hear you. I hear
Tampa.
you. This is a close game. This is a tough game to pick, bro. I hear you. Like with the points, I'm looking at Tampa. I'm like, ooh, with the points, I feel like it's and with the hook too, 3.5. So I'm like, it feels like a Tampa win, but I hear you. Who you picking though? Because I know this is a tough one, P. I know it is.
You know, it's funny. I think that Tampa really matches up extremely well with Baltimore. I think that they do. I'm still taking. Give me Tampa. Fuck it. Give me Tampa at home Monday night.
What did he say?
What did he say? Give me Tampa, bro. Give me Tampa. Damn, bro. Give me Tampa. You talked me into that. I'm taking Tampa.
You talked yourself into that, man. But I think the one thing here is like, you talked about it. Like, Baltimore does have some deficiencies that we haven't really seen a lot of teams exploit yet. And Tampa will throw the ball downfield. Like, that's one thing they'll do. And Baltimore has struggled with that. And you talked about, like, really the deficiencies with Tampa is in the secondary as well. And we haven't really seen Baltimore take true advantage of this. A lot of it has been like, we're running it with Lamar, running it with Derrick Henry, close to the line of scrimmage with Zay Flowers. We haven't seen a whole lot downfield with Nelson Aguilar and Rashad Bateman. These tight ends, we haven't seen them truly involved consistently. Now we're seeing Mark Andrews get a little bit more involved, but we haven't seen like that Isaiah Likely blow-up game that we saw the first week. So I think this is a chance for the Ravens to figure things out in the passing game, and I think they're going to be challenged with that because of Vita Vea potentially stuffing the run a little bit more against Derrick Henry. Give me Baltimore, and I think they open things up a little bit more this game. We see the best Baltimore passing attack that we have this year. I'm taking Baltimore.
Wow. Yeah.
Last one.
I did not want to take Tampa, but real what I gotta do, man. I'm sticking with Tampa, baby.
I ain't mad. And then Harbaugh, the other Harbaugh on the road as well. We have the Harbaughs, John and Jim, going up against Arizona in Arizona on Monday Night Football. And the Chargers have been playing really good football. A lot of underrated pieces on this team. The offensive line is one of the best in football. This defense has been playing really well. Obviously, we knew Harbaugh would get this team right. And then on Arizona, they could be without Marvin Harrison. He did practice today, so there's an expectation that he could be back for this game. If he is available or if he's not, I think that this Arizona team obviously has some question marks offensively. Who you got in this one, P? Oh no, I took the last one. Give me the Chargers in this one. I think the Chargers go on the road, get this thing done, and I think this offense has some things to figure out. They're a little bit more limited. Like I think we think Arizona, we think Kyler Murray, and we think of the air raid offense under Cliff Kingsbury. This is a different offense under Jonathan Gannon. And so I think they're a little bit more limited and inconsistent. And we're seeing that with like the expectations from Marvin Harrison, some of the expectations overall for this team. And I think that the Chargers do one thing really well, and that's take care of the football. They don't have a lot of, like they don't turn the ball over a lot. And Justin Herbert getting healthy is a huge plus for this team. They continue to be underrated. The 3-point favorites on the road. I think the Chargers handle business, and they probably should have been like 5-point favorites on the road.
Yeah, look, for as good as he has these Chargers offense running, the running game, the O-line, you could say the same thing about their defense. Yeah. And I think that they just have an identity. And whereas Arizona doesn't really have an identity, I think Arizona can definitely run the rock really well. But on defense, who are they stopping? They're not stopping anybody on defense. So, give me the Chargers and give me the Chargers handily as well.
It's weird because it does that's what it kind of feels like. It feels like there's an element of like this Cliff Kingsbury is still there. This whole because Kyler's still there, it still feels like an older offense. And then now you have like part of this, Trey McBride's in here and kind of taking over, and Marvin Harrison and like James Conner was there during that time too. So it feels like they haven't completely ripped the Band-Aid off of that whole Cliff Kingsbury era.
Yeah, it's like what are we doing here?
Yeah. Anyway, man, those are our picks for the week. Let us know what y'all think in the comments, and we will see you next week for our week 8 picks after I go undefeated and P loses all his games. Peace out, y'all.
Yo, hey man, it's been fun, man. I had to pick some different ones. I went out on a limb here, but I think it's justified. Tampa, put it in the books. You guys better not do me dirty, baby.
Them 49ers is getting a dub. I don't care what
Oh, I should
we
have threw
out
the
this
helmet
mother.
on.